You know that one person. Something breaks, something goes completely wrong. The pipe is leaking, the car won't start, the file is corrupted. Someone is falling apart emotionally at 2 a.m. And while everyone else is panicking, while you're frantically Googling with shaking hands, this person just goes quiet for a second. They don't spiral, they don't freeze. They just look at the problem like they've seen it before, and then they start doing something about it. And you are standing there thinking, what is wrong with me? Why is my first instinct to panic while theirs is to just fix it? Here's the truth. It has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with experience. It goes much deeper than that. And once you understand it, you'll never see calm people the same way again. They believe something about themselves that most people don't. In the late 1970s, psychologist Albert Bandura identified something he called self-efficacy. Strip away all the academic language, and it's actually very simple. It's your belief that you are capable of handling what's in front of you. Not blind optimism, not everything will be fine, something much more specific. It's the feeling of, I have handled hard things before, and this thing in front of me right now, it is handleable. Bandura found that this one belief, this single inner conviction, dramatically changes how long someone persists when things get hard, how much effort they pour in, whether they keep going or quietly give up and wait for someone else to save them. It's not a skill, it's a relationship with yourself. It started with one tiny moment they probably don't even remember. Think about the very first time a kid tries to actually fix something and it works. Maybe they wiggled the wire and the lamp turned back on. Maybe they rebooted the computer and it came back to life. Maybe they put pressure on the cut and the bleeding actually stopped. That moment does something invisible to them, something that has nothing to do with the lamp or the wire or the cut. It rewires how they see themselves in relation to the world. Suddenly, the world isn't something that just happens to them. It's something they can reach into and change. And every single time after that, when something breaks, their nervous system doesn't go into shutdown mode. It goes into something closer to mild curiosity, like, oh, a puzzle. I've solved puzzles before. Bandura called these moments mastery experiences, and research consistently ranks them as the single most powerful source of self-efficacy that exists. Not being told you're capable, not watching someone else do it, actually doing it yourself. That's the thing that sticks. They have an internal compass. Most people are waiting for an external one. Psychologist Julian Rotter spent years studying what he called locus of control, the degree to which a person believes their own actions determine outcomes rather than luck, fate, or other people. People who sit firmly on the internal end of that scale don't just fix things better. They're less likely to develop depression. They handle stress without dismantling their lives. They persist longer. They recover faster. The simple belief that your effort actually matters turns out to be one of the most protective psychological traits a human being can have. And most of these people were not born this way. It started from very specific moments, usually in childhood, where someone either handed them agency or left them no choice but to find it themselves. Sometimes it was a parent who said, I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm going to help you figure it out. And sometimes it was a parent who wasn't there at all, so the kid figured it out alone. Both paths lead to the same destination. They're not calm because they're certain. They're calm because uncertainty doesn't terrify them. This is the part that surprises most people. When a fixer walks into a broken situation, they are not certain it will work out. There's no magical guarantee running in their head. They feel the same uncertainty you feel. What's different is what that uncertainty means to them. For most people, uncertainty feels like a verdict, like the situation has already decided to go badly, and they just don't know it yet. For fixers, uncertainty feels like a starting point. There's a psychological term for this, tolerance of ambiguity, the ability to sit inside a situation where you don't yet know the answer and not fall apart while you figure it out. People who struggle with ambiguity need resolution immediately. They need to know it's going to be okay right now. And when they can't get that reassurance, anxiety takes over. They freeze, they hand it to the calm person, and back away slowly. The fixer in your life, somewhere along the way, learned to be okay in that uncomfortable in-between space. That's not confidence. That's something quieter and more powerful than confidence. But some fixers aren't fixing from strength. They're fixing from fear. Some of them learned to fix things because it was how they earned their place. The approval was in the solution. Being helpless was, at some point in their lives, genuinely dangerous. So their nervous system made a decision. I will never be helpless again. And that's not a superpower. That's a coping mechanism wearing a superpower's costume. The tell, ask them to let someone else handle something. They physically cannot relax. They hover. They offer suggestions nobody asked for. They need it to be fixable, not just for your sake, because an unfixed thing in their environment feels like an unfixed thing inside of them. And then there's the other kind, the one actually worth understanding. The person who fixes things out of genuine curiosity, because broken things genuinely fascinate them. The gap between not working and working is to them one of the most interesting places in the world. These people will tear apart something they already fixed just to understand it better. They'll ask questions with no practical use. They'll explain exactly what went wrong in more detail than anyone asked for, and they'll be delighted doing it, like they just discovered something beautiful. These are people who fell in love with competence itself, not the outcome, the process, the figuring out. Being around people like this does something to you without you realizing it, because what they model, without even trying, is that not knowing how to do something is a temporary state. Broken is not permanent. You can put your hands on a problem and actually move it. Maybe you're watching this realizing you are one of these people, and you never really thought about why. Or maybe you're realizing you're not, and the idea of being this way feels genuinely foreign, even impossible. If it's the second one, I want to say this directly to you. The reason you outsource your broken things isn't a character flaw. It's a history, a set of experiences that taught you that problems are things that happen to you rather than things you happen to. And that isn't permanent. Bandura's entire argument is that self-efficacy builds through experience, small wins, tiny moments of "I tried and it worked." Not heroic fixes, just you tightened the screw, you made the call, you didn't wait for someone to save you, just this once. That's where it starts. One small moment that rewires everything.